All right, guys, I'm rolling.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, so please introduce yourself, who you are, and what do you do now?
My name is Jeremiah Lloyd. I'm from Atlanta, but I stayed up here too. So I guess you could say I'm from Atlanta and NC. And what I do now is I'm a streamer, motivational speaker, and I like to help out with stuff like that. Help people out around the community. That's about it.
Thank you. So this is as much as you're comfortable with sharing. So tell us about your history, how you became acquainted with the juvenile justice system, and how you found yourself in that situation.
Well, it all started out when I started hanging out with the wrong group from Atlanta and stuff. And I think I was like 10, 11. I started like skipping school mostly, back talking to my mom and stuff like that. And then it just kind of got, worse. And then I had actually skipped school so much that they had put me on probation for it. And then where if I wouldn't, went to school, I would have got sent to a group home or someplace, because they take it as, well, you're not meeting your needs and you're not being taken care of, by your parent. So after that, it went from, just kept going worse to more street activity to, selling guns, the selling dope, all that things. And then after that, my mom had got killed. So when my mom got killed, I really had gotten to the street life, like big time, on the block 24/7, selling drugs, doing drugs, riding with people, shooting places, all types of stuff. And I got locked up so many times, and I got charged with over like 19 something charges. I got put on house arrest for 3 years too. I also just got off house arrest like 5 months ago, from all the stuff that was going on during that time. So.
And when did you make that transition from Atlanta to North Carolina?
I've really come over here because my mom lived over here, my granny stays over here, and my dad, really close to my granny. So, my granny, want to take care of her and make sure she's all right because she's really all I got. Like anything she gets comes from me. I'm always taking care of her. Also, my mom's house is in my name. Mine and my sister's, it's 50-50. So, something's happened to her, I had to take it over. And I'm also my dad, he has a bunch of health problems. So if something was to happen to him, I'd have to be here also. So that's really why I'm over here more, and to get away from the, the street life, because I was in it for so long, and I've got on a better path. So I just don't want that life anymore. I'm trying to put it behind me.
So while you were in the juvenile justice system, and I know you said it was several years, so if you're thinking along that whole span of time, what do you think worked well for you?
What worked well for me is when they would listen, I think they're really, I guess the word you say, lenient on you. So, they give you a lot of chances, before they actually send you away. But the thing that helps me best is I had a good, PO. So, anything that would happen, he would always come talk to me before just saying, hey, you're going to juvie or you're going to a mental hospital, and they also try to put you through counseling, therapy, and things before they just send you away, because they know no parent, no juvenile wants to just be sent away because they don't want people to think that they're just trying to send them away, So I think that was a good thing that helped me most, was I had people that I could talk to, which was my PO and my lawyer and stuff like that would listen to me. So.
And did you get connected to any kind of counseling services?
I did. I had went through I went through one over here in NC with Murphy. I went through one over there, and also the places I've been to, like the mental institutions over there. Because then when you go to, you have to go through counseling and stuff to get passed. So I went through a lot of counseling and therapy, and just got out of therapy and counseling. That was the same thing. He did the same thing about a couple months ago. That was a good one in Swain. So.
And in those, like the different kinds of counseling programs that you went through, what did you find helpful in those programs?
Coping skills, definitely. Especially if you struggle with depression, anxiety, anger issues. Coping skills. If you find the right person to kind of see, I was lucky enough to find a person that had been through the same thing as me. had seen people, get killed and had, all that and had depression and PTSD from things he had seen. So he could relate to everything, and he could tell me things that would help me, but I could also tell him things that would help him. So that's, that was the thing that helped me the most.
So going back now to the time in the juvenile justice system, we talked about what worked well for you. Is there anything that you think could have worked better throughout that time?
I think it would have worked better, if more of some of my family members would have been on my side, because especially about DJJ and any juvenile, place or corporation, it's mostly the parents or, the sisters or whoever, you're living with or dealing with. They have a big impact on where you go or what happens during that time. So I think that if I had better of, family members that wouldn't have had just tried to send me away, it would have went a lot better. But that's also where I had the good probation officer and lawyer that would talk to me about it, because juvenile, you have to have, it's not just you. It's not like you're an adult and you got your own words. It's where, when you're from however young they take you in to, 16, 17, 18, it's mostly your parents talking or your sisters talking. So it's more of their words than just yours. So, yeah.
And did you have any interactions with judges over the time? And if so, how did you think those interactions were?
Well, I've been in front of a judge a lot. I'll just be for real. You have some judges that are lenient, and you have some that are just like, no, he went too far, just boom. But most of them, as a juvenile, they're lenient on you. I could have got sent away for at least 2 years. I got sent away for like 2-3 months. So I mean, I was very thankful for that. But like I said, every judge, say if you go to jail, if it's traffic court, say if Cherokee County don't have it, then you might have to go to Clay County, which is the county next to us. And that judge might be different from our judge. So you really never know. It also depends on what you did. But most of the time, they're more lenient than anything. Unless you've been in front of a judge many times. Like I had that same judge, and she just said she got tired of me coming. She was like, yeah, you're gone. So, yeah.
Did you have an opportunity to speak on your own behalf to the judge?
I did. Mostly I had just apologized for what I did. I admitted that I was in the wrong, stuff like that. And she had already said, if you come back in front of me, I'm just going to send you away. But I was thankful that it wasn't no 2 years what I could have gotten. It was just, a couple months behind bars, because that would have been better than getting sent away.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thankful for that. And I've learned that if you take accountable of what you've done, you'll get a less sentence, or you'll be trusted more, say if something big was to go down, if you was involved in it. And say if a shooting was to go down, if you've lied your whole life about the system and all that and lying to them, then they're going to look at you just like, he's lying. If you start being honest, then you'll be able to get somewhere. So that's what I've also learned too.
In trying to get connected with different sorts of services, whether it was a counseling service or therapy, or if you ever did any kind of substance use intervention services, did you ever experience any barriers to being able to access these services?
Yeah, see, when I had first wanted to start out with this one company, I wasn't bad enough, supposedly. And also, that's another part that comes in. It's more of your parents or who you're staying with if they want to do it. And then your probation or your lawyer, because everyone has to agree on the same thing. It can't just be because, say if your probation officer don't want you to go to this one counseling, and you want them to, you have to agree on something. It can't just be a word or just a word. Because if you go in front of the judge and say that, she's going to look at you and just be like, she's going to take you somewhere herself. So, I think mostly my barriers was the one where I wasn't bad enough, but then I had qualified for it after I had gotten more in trouble. But I think also the people I was staying with, because it's all a big uproar when basically you want to go somewhere, if you think about it. Because everyone has to agree, the lawyer, the judge, the PO, and the supervisor, everyone has to come to an agreement,
Did you have meetings, like child and family team meetings or team meetings where everyone would come together, including you, and kind of make decisions together?
I did one time, two times. I also did that virtually. Well, I was virtually, but then everyone else was in the courtroom when they was trying to figure out what they was going to do for me for my case, which I had stayed in jail, but they'd all come together with me on the phone to see what I could do.
Mm-hmm.
I've also been in one in person. Wasn't for, you know, the jail, but it was for like a DSS matter. So
And what was that team experience like for you? Did you feel like you could speak, or everyone was kind of cooperating with one another?
they do give everyone a chance to speak, you know, but it's mostly you have to be able to know what you're saying and be able to tell the truth, and also not get caught up in the lie, you know, because you know if you go in front of a judge, you go in front of anybody, they're gonna switch it up to see if you tell a different story. So you know you have to be honest with them. Depends on your past also. They always go off that, and it also depends on your whoever you're staying with also.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you was to go to one and you've been good, then you might have a better chance of, you know, getting not out of it, but a better, less, you know, maybe probation or something.
Mm-hmm. So if you think about the stretch of time when you were involved in the system, can you think about, this is a difficult question, but what would you identify kind of as like the worst time? It could be like a day or a moment or just a time period.
The worst day and time period when I was on house arrest and I had went and found my mom that got killed, and then I had court like 2 days later, and it was actually my sentencing. So what they did was I still got sentenced to juvenile for what I had done, and it was hard for me because I thought I would not be able to go to my mom's funeral and all this other stuff. But I'd also got charged for, you know, supposedly killing her because my sister was saying it and all these other people were saying it. But I was on house arrest and they done knew I was innocent and everything. So that was mostly what put me behind bars. Then I had got out like a week before her funeral, and I was able to go, and they just put me on house arrest, 24/7 house arrest, and just kept me on it so that I could, you know, because they knew I wasn't involved. That was the hardest because I'd found her, and then I was dealing with, you know, getting sentenced, and then I had got sentenced, and then they had come to me and saying I was charged for murder at the same time. So it was like, you know, I didn't really know what to think or say because my mom meant the world to me. So, you know, especially when your sister, or especially your blood, says something like on Facebook that you killed your mom or did something like that. It's not just the emotional impact; it's the anxiety and all that. Because you go out in public, you got all these people looking at you as a killer, especially if you're like 13, 14 years old when your mom passed away. That was the worst time, you know, of the system that I think happened.
That was awful, Jeremiah.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry that happened.
that was the worst.
And this might be, I know it's several years that we're talking about, so there might have been a few of these. Oh, silence my phone. Sorry about that. So, was there a turning point for you, or can you identify it, were there like a series of turning points? Because I know it was a long time.
So the 7 years in the system, it was a lot of turning points. See, I would start on a good path, and then I would get mad at something, and I wouldn't think, and I'd just be like, F this, F that, everything, F everybody, because I was so mad at the world, even before my mom passed away. It's just, so I would get in more trouble, and then, you know, I'd go to jail and be like, oh man, why'd I do that? So there was that. I'm mostly just, you know, I'd start doing good, and then, you know, something just flares me off. Because I've always been the type of person to hold everything in. And, you know, if you make a person mad that holds everything in them, you know, it's just, boom, they got nothing to lose, they think. So I think that was mostly my turning points when didn't think I had anything to lose.
Were there turning points that kind of like pulled you in the other direction, like onto a positive path where you started making progress?
Mostly that started in when I started getting arrested a lot after my mom passed away. And see, when you ain't got no money on your books, you ain't got soap to wash, you ain't really got no nothing. You just got to eat jail food, and also just want to make my mom proud. I think that was more of, and also my haters, people that said I couldn't do it, people said I'd be dead. Those are the people that keep me going. To be honest with you, because you gotta show them people wrong or prove them wrong. So yeah, that was my mostly biggest thing to keep going was my mom and my haters.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You know, I know we sort of like loosely touched on things, but before your mom passed away, you'd already had brothers, lost brothers too, right?
Yeah.
Because you had a hell of a time. Can you kind of like put us, just kind of give us a picture of what life had been like for you before you started winding up and as you were winding up in the system?
Yeah, I lost a brother 2 years before my mom passed away. And I actually held him in my arms when he passed away. He was 26. His name was Austin. He passed away actually in Murphy. Um, Not here, but at a different apartment complex here. Um, and that took a big toll on me because he was like not the, he was like big in the gang, so I looked up to him a lot, followed his footsteps, so that pushed me in further. And I really wanted to, get the money and help my mom pay bills and all that stuff because I was the type of person in the affiliation that I wasn't gonna be no crash dummy to go out here and just rob somebody or kill somebody or do something stupid. I wanted to get money for my people, for the people struggling, um, to help them out, because it's what a gang's supposed to be, help yourself and your family out. But now it's just the guns and, you get offered $100,000 to go shoot at somebody. You ain't even gonna hit them, you're gonna hit somebody else. So I think that's what's wrong with the gang stuff nowadays, And I also lost a lot of friends to the gang stuff, before mom even passed away. So I was really already going through a lot, and then when my mom passed away, it's just I lost it completely and went deep into it. Um, my mom really didn't like me into the gang stuff, because like so my dad and them was from Atlanta, and my mom was from Murphy, so she was in a more of a country town, and see, Atlanta is just all city and gang. There's country parts in Atlanta too, but it was a lot to deal with. She tried to keep me on the best track she could, but I was already seeing so much and I was so deep in that we couldn't nothing I can do about it besides just keep going. And I tried getting better for her, but then when she passed away, it's kind of just I really had nothing to lose. So
You'd mentioned that one of the people you worked with in your counseling programs kind of had a similar background to you and it helped you connect. There's folks who are called like youth support partners or peer supports who are people who like have had similar kinds of experiences and now they're connected with young people to kind of help guide them through. Were you ever connected with a peer support type person like that? Or a mentor or anything like that while you went through the system?
I think he was just a counselor, but he was also kind of like a mentor, I guess you'd say. He would help me, get started on jobs, help me get started on interviews, stuff like that. So I guess you could say he was a mentor. I don't really know, but I guess you could say so. He more of a mentor than me.
So this is kind of more of like a philosophical like kind of question more than I think directly about your history, but kind of like thinking about it, advice for the system sort of. What do you think can be done on a prevention level to help youth avoid getting involved with the juvenile justice system?
Well, number one, I think having a phone at a young age, like social media at a young age, and just getting involved with the wrong people and looking up to the wrong people. It's not just that, it's also people look up to rappers as a young kid or young teenager. They look up to rappers and they see they have money and all this. when they think they can, go do these things they think it looks cool to have guns and all that. I think that's a big problem. And also the people that hang around, because if you look up to someone and you're hanging out with him, if he's doing this, or selling drugs or making money, then you're going to want to do it, So I think that's a big part of the problem now, is that just the social media and the hanging with the wrong crowd of people. And then also you got some people that was just brought up into the life, that grew up in it. I think that's the two mainly purposes.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any ideas for how to prevent young people from hanging out with the wrong people or getting involved in like social media at too young an age?
I've always told people, it's cool to make money. It's cool to look good, wear nice clothes and all that. But what comes with it is you're going to regret. And that's what I always tell them. So I always tell them, watch who you hang with. And, if you want to make money, go mow yawns or something like that. You ain't got to sell no dope or sell guns. On social media, back then they didn't really have anything to monitor what kids and teenagers say on it or do. But now I think they do, so I think that's a good thing.
So use those monitoring
Yeah.
tools. Mm-hmm. So if you were to be able to like send a message to youth or parents or families who are on a similar journey to what you went through, what message would you want to give to them?
Mostly for the juveniles that could be possibly going to a group home or a juvie or a mental hospital, is to stay calm, stay reductive, because any juvenile that is about to get sent away, you see their anger builds up. You see they change, they get mean because they want to go in that place thinking, trying to scare other people. But that's the wrong thing to do, because, you want to get somewhere where, they might have a murderer in your cell and you might not know that. And then you buck up to them and you ain't going to know what to do, So I think the best thing for juveniles is to do is stay calm, just get through it. And, they give you counselors. If you ain't got one, ask for one while you're in jail. They also have, visiting times for like counselors and stuff to come to talk to those. And it's not just that. Also, if you need help, just seek out help in jail. Because some people that have mental illnesses and they don't know what they're doing when they get mad and stuff. So it might be better for them to go to a mental hospital than it would be a jail. And for the families, like the dads, the sisters, I think it would be not to pressure them into doing, better, right away. Like, of course, tell them to do better, but not peer pressure them, especially if they're already trying and going through enough. Because then it's going to they're going to feel like, well, I'm doing all this wrong and all this, I have nothing to lose. I'm making my people feel sad and I got all these people angry at me. So I think it's just better to talk to them, and tell them, what to do better, and not just tell them like, oh, be a better son or do something better, like, because you got to talk to somebody if you want them to change, but you can't change them. They got to change themselves. So I think it's better to talk to them and also talk to the POs and try to get something less than just getting sent away or whatever's going on in that family's life. That's what helped me the most. It was communication is key and the trust in it. But once you break that trust, then you got to know too that you're done, basically, until you get it back.
Do you think that your family understood the juvenile justice system while you were going through it? And if not, what do you think might help families understand the system better?
I think my family understood it more than I did because one of my family members, they wanted me to get sent away a lot since I was like a little kid. So I mean, if that's what they're constantly wanting, like a family for their juvenile to constantly get sent away, then like I said, it's going to be more of their word than the juvenile's word, because they're the adults and the grown-ups, and there's really nothing a juvenile can do. So of course, if it's that type of person, then they're going to think the juvenile's doing what they're supposed to do. But I think that if it's a matter of where the parents don't want that person sent off and the juvenile don't want to be sent off, and if it's like maybe try to talk to them, try to get something, less, and tell them, well, was the last strike you got, keep on. If you keep on going, then there's no more chances you're getting sent away. But they're also really lenient. I don't know about other counties, but our county is really lenient on our juveniles here. I had many chances before I got sent away fully. And I'm talking about breaking everything in the house, and not getting sent away at first. So, I feel like it's, but I don't know about other counties either, so.
Mm-hmm. What are some ways that you think that youth voice could be used to improve the juvenile justice system?
I think that the youth could help other youth people by telling their story, because some people that don't talk about the things they're going through, but inside they could really be going through the same thing as you. So I feel like even if they wasn't to tell you that they're going through the same thing as you, if you was to go present or talk to them or videos to them, it could help them, and then maybe later on they come back or they tell someone who they're staying with, that really helps me, because a lot of people don't open up to what they've been through in life. That's one of the major things we have nowadays, because when people open up, they automatically think they're going to get sent to somewhere because they're scared to open up about it.
Do you mean if they open up about their kind of like their mental health?
Yeah, like if a lot of people that struggle with anxiety, depression, and all this stuff, they think they're on edge, 24/7. So, they think that they open up to somebody, and you got so many people that just don't want to talk to kids. They just want to call the law and make the law take care of it. That's why they're scared to open up, because they don't want to get sent away. And I think being sent away, opening up right away is the wrong move for younger kids, because it's going to turn from sadness to anger, because they're going to think, well, I can't talk to no one. I ain't got no one to vent to, and then they're going to feel alone, and they ain't going to open up. It's going to turn into something worse than just sadness or anger. And it's not even just that. If you think about it, a lot of people that say they're going to kill themselves, really don't do it. A person that's really hurting inside, they get quiet. They don't talk. They don't associate with nobody. And if they're going to kill themselves, they're going to kill themselves. But you also got some people out here that they say they're going to kill themselves. They're going to kill themselves. So that's the tricky part, I guess, nowadays with the I think psychiatrists they're called, when you go to the hospital and you got to talk to them on the screen, is they don't know if they're going to or not. But I feel like if they was to have the support, like the people they stay with to watch them and to take away the weapons in the house and stuff, and therapy and counseling before they got sent away, that would help more, And I also talk to the juvenile, especially if they just want to say they want to die or something like that. And anger is the same thing, but you also got to stop anger before it gets too far out of hand. Because some people black out and they'll end up hurting someone and they'll regret it.
You mentioned that coping skills was the most helpful thing that you learned in counseling. What are some of your, the most helpful coping skills that you found that you utilize?
For my anxiety and stuff, I'll breathe in and out 10 times. And panic attack is the smell, count, and see thing. I don't know what it's called though. I forgot the name of it. And also talking to somebody. But the thing about how if you have a panic attack or if your anxiety is high, if you talk to someone, they want to get on there and start talking about what was doing to them and about the attack. So then it's going to make it come back because they're relying on it. So I think the best thing is when you talk about something like that is not talk about it. Just talk about something else. Like think about something like a beach or something or somewhere you want to go, something beautiful, because the more you talk about it, the more you're going to rely on that and think about it. And it's going to hit you again. That's the best thing that I could give on that is the breathing, pacing, the smell, count, see thing. I think it was count 3 things, see 3 things, taste 3 things, or something like that. And there's also a finger count one. We're listening to music or gaming, you know. It just depends. I think each one is different because each one helps different things, you know. See, for anger, I have to listen to music and start pacing. Same thing for a panic attack, but I also have to breathe because I'll think I'm dying, to be honest with you. So I think those are the biggest things. And then some people might not have those coping skills. They might have their own kind of coping skill. You know, there's so many coping skills out here nowadays. So might be drawing or coloring or something. Whatever you like best is what you need to do whenever you're dealing with something like that at a certain time. That's what I think.
No, it's great that you have as many as you do.
Yeah.
As you get older, you'll just keep accumulating more and more.
Yeah.
By the time you're my age, you'll have like 1,000. So when you look to your future, what are your hopes and your dreams for your future?
Well, I hope that, you know, I can be a motivational speaker and one that, you know, gets paid a lot of money, not just for myself, but I want to bring back to my community. You know, even though I'm not liked in the community, but even bringing back for not just my generation, but the generation coming up, because this town don't have anything, you know, that kids can do. So the kids are constantly staying in trouble 24/7. So I think that coming back, opening up something for the kids to do, or, you know, just bringing back to the homeless would help a lot. Even though some people don't appreciate it, but, you know, eventually they will. So I think that's what I want to do really, is be a motivational speaker and bring back to the community, you know, and see people be able to eat and have somewhere to stay, you know, because my life wasn't easy, you know. I remember sleeping just on the floor with a little sheet, and that's it. Eating bologna. That's about it. So that's really what I want to do, is get back to the community.
And is there anything else that you'd like us to know that we didn't cover?
Keep going no matter what. Anything that you do, people are going to say something about it. You know, you could be a big dope dealer, you know, 2 years ago, and then, you know, become one of the best people in that county and feed the homeless, become a mayor of that county, even though, and you just don't have people to talk about you. No matter what you do, good or bad. So just keep on going. Just ignore all the hate, and if anything, feed on it. You know, make them come to you and be like, "Man, I didn't think you would do that. I thought you'd be dead or in prison," or make them jealous of you. That's what I do. That's the best thing I can tell them. And stay in school, get an education, and not to worry about girls and boys, and girlfriend, boyfriends, you know, at a young age, and then ruin your whole life. You know, because when you get that on your mind, you don't care about nothing else really besides that person. So that's the best thing I could give people.
I have one more follow-up question. This is just based on kind of things that I hear some from adults and then from young people. What is your perspective on social media? Like, what do you think are the positives, and if there's negatives about social media for young people?
I think the negative is every time you get on social media, it's drama, you know, and then you got friends, and then nowadays it's mostly everyone nowadays is two-faced, you know. They're going to talk behind your back and stuff. And I think nowadays what people don't realize is if you get on that social media app and you argue with that person, with your friend, you know, there's really, why would you do that when that person might be talking behind your back, you know? I think that's one of the biggest things is kids want to get on there and see that their friends are arguing, then they want to join in. Same thing with adults. I think that also Snapchat is a big red flag for teens, because it's an app to where you can delete messages after viewing. You can do things without getting caught on there and all this other stuff. I think that's a big red flag for, you know, social media also, and just the arguing and the negativity. You know, you could see something on Facebook, Snap, anything, and ruin your whole day, you know, and then you're just going to be mad at the world or sad at the world. you know, or because you think about it, you get on there and see when your favorite artist died, then you're gonna be mad or sad. You get on there and saying that someone's doing drugs and stuff, of course you're gonna have something to say about it. So I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is people really don't know how to stay in their own lane. They want to join in other people's lane, and they can't worry about their stuff because they like drama, you know. And I just think that social media shouldn't be used as a drama section for people to vent about drama, you know. It used to not be like that back then. You know, I think that's what the biggest thing is drama.
Do you think there's any positives about social media?
You know, like schools that post their kids playing basketball, football, people that want to speak, help others, stuff like that. You know, people that might be past a driving test, their parent might post them. I think that's positive things. You know, or another thing is getting words out there. You know, like maybe a new homeless shelter opened up. I think that's a good positive thing because they can get it out there, you know, real fast because social media goes by in seconds. So I think that's the positive things.